On this episode of the Girl Talk podcast,
Can we talk about, though, if we're working all summer, like how do we do all this stuff? I remember being a kid and having summers off. Oh, remember what it felt like to walk out of that school door that last time?
Oh, my word.
And summer felt like forever. It was just this wonderful thing. But when you're working, it just feels like it's just another day. Mm-hmm. How do we make the most of the time when we don't have a lot of time?
Hello there. You're listening to the Girl Talk podcast. My name is Carol.
I'm Kelly.
Hey there, I'm Trisha.
And we're so glad that you are here today.
Yes, we are. And we want to say a very special thank you to our friends at Compassion International. This is an amazing ministry. They are rescuing children from poverty in Jesus' name all over the world through child sponsorship. And we really believe in it. Each of us have our own sponsored children, and they make our lives so much better as we get the opportunity to tell them and their family and the whole community about Jesus. And if evangelism is on your heart, you want to spread the word of Jesus, this is a wonderful way of doing it, one child at a time. Now, here's how you can see the beautiful children that are living in extreme poverty right now and need to be rescued. You can see their faces at thelightfm.org what is it?
Backslash.
About said splash. I was doing house renovations for a while. / Girl Talk. And then click on the Compassion International banner. Want to introduce you to Nancy. We're looking at Nancy. She is 5 years old. She's from Guatemala. Her birthday is May the 18th. And Nancy loves dolls, playing with sweet little dolls, and she loves running. And she is in extreme poverty right now. And if God is putting that sort of prompting on your heart to meet Nancy, she's kind of sassy in her picture, got her hands on her hips. She could really use that child sponsorship. So meet Nancy, meet these other children, again, by going to thelightfm.org / Girl Talk, and then click on that Compassion banner. We love Compassion. They're sponsoring the Girl Talk podcast this season.
What is tonight?
Where are we?
What
time is it?
Back it up. Today we're going to talk about we're going to talk about having a healthy summer. And part of that is knowing whether it's day or night. I don't know. I've been up since night, so it might be day or night. I don't know.
Hey, we're
healthy
at least
summer.
in daylight savings time.
It's true.
We are, and
y'all save that daylight.
I have struggled this year.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I
Still
struggled
struggling.
hard, yeah.
Yes.
But summertime's coming, and we all need a healthy checkup. Do you have like a regular routine of like reviewing your life and thinking about things that you need to change?
No.
No.
That's an excellent idea.
So
good thought.
So here's something that I started doing a couple years ago. I don't do it perfectly, so don't look at me as the example. But I started this program that takes the quarter, and they kind of divide the year into quarters. So you have the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, right? And so each quarter you kind of review your goals and you look at, am I getting to the place that I want to get to? One of the things is I wanted to read more this year. So instead of saying, I want to read more this year, I said, I want to read 15 books a quarter. So during that first quarter, I would see how I'm doing on that goal of reading 15 books a quarter. And so when you break it down that way, I think it's easier to do.
Yeah.
Also with my exercise goals, I would set that number. I would like to exercise this many times a quarter, and it breaks it down to a little smaller bite so that you're not overwhelmed by the whole year. You just kind of break it up into quarters. And I think summertime is a perfect time to do that because our schedules kind of change. You kind of have a reset. You don't have to wait for the new year. And before school starts back and your habits kind of change, you have an opportunity to kind of think about what's working, what's not, what do I need to change. That's one of the ways I do it.
Well, one of the things I think is great about that is that you set goals at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really kind of step number one. I
Right.
don't have any goals to look back on and go,
but here's
hey,
the
how am I
thing.
doing on those goals?
But here's
that
the
I
thing:
never
you
actually made?
don't have to wait for the first of the year to set goals.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
set.
that's true.
You can like this summer I want to read 2 books.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or this summer I want to watch less TV, and so every time I'm tempted to turn the TV on, I'm going to walk around the neighborhood one time. I mean, stuff that is
smart.
simple as that.
Uh-huh.
What I found out about myself is if I don't get specific with the goal, I never meet it.
Yeah.
Just I want to read
Same.
more. doesn't help me read more.
Doesn't inspire you.
But saying, like, okay, so if you say I want to read 15 books a quarter, that's 3 months. So you break that down even further, that's 5 books a month. Okay?
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
good.
I'm proud
5
of you.
books a month.
I am super proud of
When
you.
I start reading, though, I read quick.
Uh-huh.
And I've started like widening out what it means to read a book. I also listen to some books. So when you put listening to books in there with reading books, 5 is manageable.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And so
That
I
makes
think
sense.
it's all about how you frame those things. And you don't have to wait for the first of the year because honestly, we don't keep any of those anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a moving target.
Right.
But what I hate to think about is wasting my summer,
Yeah.
wasting that time. And if I don't have something to think about,
Yeah.
just sort of the days kind of float by. I love summer. I love it. I'm finally warm.
Yeah.
I'm cold every other part of the year, but I love summer, and I don't want to just waste it. I want to make the most of it. And sometimes I feel a lot of pressure about that.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of thinking about goals. And this is making me think, what do I want this summer?
Well, and one of our friends, Alicia, who used to be on the podcast,
I was
is
gonna
this
say
what
that
you're gonna
exact
say?
same
yeah,
thing, yes.
Yeah. So she did this cool thing. I've never done it with my kid, but I think it'd be really cool to do. And I always think of it this
What
time
is
of
it?
year.
I've forgotten.
So she would ask her kids to write down on little slips of paper things that they wanted to do this summer. They put them all in a bucket and they draw them out. So that during the summertime, they're not sitting around going, "What do you want to do?" "I don't know." "What do you want to do?" "I don't." You know, one might be, "Let's go to a water park." The other one might be, "Let's spend the day at the zoo." Or it's different things for different people. Whatever your kids like to do, but that gives you some really tangible things that you can build into your schedule and start planning those things around, camps and
Yes.
all the things.
And that gives them a voice, too,
Right.
which I think is so helpful.
Yeah, she was also super creative, so she
Yeah,
would create a vision board out of
Yes,
it, and she'd
yeah.
like cut out things out of magazines that showed pictures of them doing the different things, and
yeah.
then they would hang that up on their refrigerator so that they could always see what it was that they wanted to accomplish for the year. And it was an inspiration.
But
Yeah.
let's remember, not all of us are vision boarders.
Right,
Like
right.
you had said that, and I'm like,
Yeah,
But
it
some
doesn't have
are.
to be.
But
No.
some are
are.
creative, and
Yeah.
some don't want to write things down on a piece of paper and pull it out of a hat.
So it's
because they
it's
like to see
find
it.
the thing that works for you.
Yep,
And
find what
here's
works
the
for you.
thing, if I break it down into a day,
Yeah.
like I think most of us, I don't like lists per se, but I like checking things off a list.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
And so
That's
it's
very
helped me in
satisfying.
my day timer to like the things that I do every day, I go ahead and put them on there.
Yeah.
If I don't get to them, it's okay. Like I'm not destroyed, but it gives me something to shoot for. And I think that's what's important. Because I mean, I'm a creative, and so by nature, you would think that I don't like order. That's actually not true. I'm actually more creative if I can move the order stuff into a measurable thing,
Yeah.
and then I have more time for creative things. So, just as a loose example, I know I'm going to be waiting for 20 minutes at 3 o'clock this afternoon for something to happen. My kid to get home or whatever. I've got 20 minutes. I can't read a whole book in 20 minutes, but let's just see how much I can read in that 20 minutes. I'm gonna write on my calendar this 20 minutes I'm gonna read. That's 20 more minutes than you did yesterday, so you've already succeeded, right?
Yes.
So I think for me, I was always intimidated to do that because I would look at the end of the day and be disappointed. But instead, there are other things that come up in the course of a day that aren't on your list that you get to do. Like I had coffee with a friend, wasn't expecting that. She calls me out of the blue and says, "Hey, can we get together for coffee this afternoon?" Sure. I can move some of that stuff out of the way, get it done early if I have the time, or let it fall off. The time with the friend was the most important thing.
That's right.
So,
I love that because you're helping me remember prioritizing.
Yeah.
Because what I don't want to do is scroll Facebook for 2 hours.
Right.
You know, I want to make the most of my time, but thinking through what's really important right now.
right.
And sometimes it feels refreshing to just sit there and scroll through, da-da-da-da-da. But I never walk away from that going, well, I've had enough of that and I feel good. But if I spend time having coffee with a friend, or if I do something that my kids want to do, then I walk away going, oh, that was a good use of my time.
Yeah. I had a friend, a person run into me the other day, and I was looking for something on my phone, and y'all know I put my phone on grayscale.
Yeah.
I started back right before Easter. I gave up social media for Easter and for Lent. And it's been the greatest thing ever.
Oh,
I have
tell
felt
me.
so refreshed.
Really?
Yeah. I
No
have
social media at all?
none. I have missed a couple of things where I've had to have people fill me in on life things that happened on social media, and everybody knew about it except for me. But I'm usually the last one to find out about things like that anyway. So I did that. It was, I don't know if I'll do it forever, but for that time period, so refreshing. And you know what else happened? I read more.
Got your goal done.
I also was looking. Went back to the story, but I was also talking with a friend, and I was looking for something on my phone. She goes, "Oh, you're still doing that grayscale thing?" I was like, "Yeah," because it greatly cuts down on my screen time when I change it over, and all the colors aren't available to me. I use my phone way less.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so powerful.
But I
practical.
have to do, and you know what else I did? I blocked social media sites on my phone. We typically think of those things for our kids. But if I am left to my own devices, that is a go-to. And so I went into the settings of my phone, and I said, do not allow me. I don't have the app on my phone. And I said, block this website. Don't ever let me get on it. And so if I try to go to Facebook, it says, this is not something that you can do. Now, could I go take it off? Well, absolutely, I could. But I don't want to go to the trouble to do that.
Yeah.
So I just make a better choice.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder to me that I do have a choice.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
can make a better choice with that time instead of getting in the.
Well, and I think one of the things you're talking about too is having a balanced life.
Yeah.
You know, having a life that's all in balance. One of the best books I have ever read was one by a lady named Rebecca Lyons called Rhythms of Renewal.
Yes.
And she
Great
talks
book.
about the 4 rhythms of our life: the rhythm of rest, the rhythm of restore, the rhythm of connect, and the rhythm of create. And there are we need to have a balance in all 4 of those rhythms in order to really be secure and happy and have the most balance, really. That those are the 4 things that we want to have balanced, and that the rest is not just sleep, but it's also the time to just sit and reflect and pray and those kinds of things. That restore is some of that self-care, that exercise, that prayer, the time with prayer, doing fun things. Seeing your therapist for me.
Me too.
Yeah. Connect.
It's not fun though.
It is not fun.
Fun wasn't mentioned.
Yes.
It's not one of the rhythms.
And then connect, spending time with friends,
Yeah.
being able to have those coffee dates, being able to really connect with another human being, to be seen and known. You know, that is part of that rhythm. And then the other rhythm is the rhythm of create, that just like God, we are created to be creators. And we're all creating something. Sometimes it's in our work. Our job is to create widgets, or our job is to create content, or our job is to
Chaos.
Chaos.
Maybe professional chaoser.
I am. Yes, I am.
Or maybe it's a hobby. Like
Yeah.
for me, I like to create
Pottery.
You know, Carol, you like to create journals. There's all kinds of things that you can create. And so, but having those things in balance reduces our anxiety. It increases our emotional health. It helps us find joy, and it really just gets everything in the right rhythm for our life. And so, you know, that's one of the things I want to really do an analysis of this summer is, or for this summer, is to kind of look at the 4 rhythms of my life and how am I doing in those 4 areas.
Yeah, that's so smart. It's
Yeah.
so smart. Can we talk about, though, if we're working all summer, like how do we do all this stuff? I remember being a kid and having summers off. Oh, remember what it felt like to walk out of that school
for the
door that last time?
Oh my word.
And summer felt like forever. It was just this wonderful thing. But when you're working, it just feels like it's just another day. How do we make the most of the time when we don't have a lot of time?
Yeah, great question.
You
I want
know?
to take 10 weeks of vacation like my kid.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think the first thing comes to spending some time reflecting on how you're spending your time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, at least for me anyway, I do a lot of things that I'm choosing to do but feel like a burden to me.
Okay. Yeah.
So I part of it comes by saying, is this something I feel passionate about? Is it something that I'm doing out of obligation? Is it something I'm doing because ultimately I have a choice? And I mean, yeah, all of us work. But when you get off work, what choices are you making? What habits do you have? What are the things that you can simplify? You know, just I think just thinking about those things is a step in the right direction, because I found a lot of things that, you know what, that's not something I'm real passionate about, and I could let go of that. I could, you know, go sit by a body of water somewhere. That refreshes me. It doesn't have to be the beach, although that's a great place. I love going to the beach, but I may not be able to go to the beach. Could I drive to a lake somewhere and sit there for 15 minutes? Yeah,
or a babbling
I sure
brook.
could. Yeah. Or a babbling brook, or a swimming pool,
right?
Or a creek, or, you know, I think we kid ourselves into thinking that if we don't have weeks off in the summertime, that we don't have any time.
Yep.
So I think it starts with reflecting on the choices that we're making with our time.
Yep.
Be choosy.
Yes. Yeah.
I really like that. And the simplify piece of that is so good. And it doesn't have to be a big cruise ship vacation.
Right.
It can be a day away at the lake. I really like that. I've been reading a book too about different things that kind of more is athletically oriented, but it talks about setting goals for yourself. And how you need to do it. There are 3 levels. The first priority is God, and the next priority is your family and friends, and then the third is like things that fill up yourself. It doesn't have to be exact like that. God should always be first, but when you're creating goals, when you're thinking about choosing your time and the activities that you're going to spend that precious time on, God, family, friends, and then like those self-fulfilling activities like hobbies and things that rest and restore us. So I like that framework because it helps me make decisions in my day.
Yep. And I think a lot of it's about making priorities.
Yeah.
Choosing the right things.
So my friend Laura sent me this a couple days ago. She had screen captured it off of her phone. It said, instead of saying, I don't have time, try saying it's not a priority and see how that feels.
Because say that again.
Wow.
Say it again.
Instead of saying I don't have time, try saying it's not a priority and see how that feels.
See how it feels.
Right. Wow.
Okay.
But doesn't that
Yeah, that'll show you
Yeah.
where
your priorities are.
exactly.
Right.
And so I think some of it, you know, at least for me anyway, it cracks me up because I look at my life sometimes. I'm like, it took me 52 years to figure that out. Like, I should have gotten that much sooner, but I didn't. But now to spend 15 minutes thinking about, am I the person I want to be? Because I'm not going to get there unless I make some changes, unless I build some habits into my life, unless I set some goals. Then I'm not going to get there. So is it that I don't really want to get there, I just want to say I want to get there? Or am I willing to make the sacrifice to get there?
What was that quote that you said about casting a vote?
Oh,
that
yes,
made me think
James
about.
Clear, Atomic Habits. He says, every day you cast a vote to the person that you want to become.
Yeah.
So if every day, you know, you're casting those votes to somebody that you don't want to become, maybe you need to look at your votes, you know. But I think for me, it all started with spending a little bit of time. I do this every week, usually on Sunday afternoon. I sit down with my calendar and I start mapping out my week, and I look at what I've got, the have-tos that I have to do, work or, you know, things like that. And I put those on the calendar. And then I see where I want to put the things that take care of me, that renew me, that I'm connecting with other people, or that I'm creating. And if you put those on your calendar, you're more likely to keep that date. Whether it's a date with yourself where you spend 15 minutes writing, or you spend 15 minutes listening to music, whether you spend 15 minutes connecting with a friend, whatever it is, if you put it on your schedule, you're more likely to stick to it. And
That's true for exercise too.
right,
like a
right.
date.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I put that on my calendar every day. Do I get to it every day? No, I don't. There are some days I don't when things come up, and I don't get to do that. But 9 times out of 10, I accomplish it more by writing it down than I do by not.
Yep.
There's just something that happens in our psyche that helps us to accomplish that goal. when
It
we write
crystallizes
down.
it in our heads.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things you said earlier is that you don't have to go backwards and make goals. Set to start today.
Yeah.
You know, make your goals today.
Right.
Here's a question. What do you want from this summer? What do you want?
I want to spend time with my kiddo.
Yeah, I want to make memories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
I want to make memories, and I want to be a better version of myself after the summer's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm tired of blaming the person I am on my circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get in my head a lot. I mean, I'm just one of those people that I can look like everything's great on the outside, but I could be so in my head. And I've really started to think about those things and think about why I go to those dark places and to try to eradicate that. So I want to be a better version of me. And part of that comes by saying no to some things, which is going to be very disappointing for the people who always are used to me saying yes.
Yep.
But saying no to some of those things and really practicing Sabbath.
Yeah. That's part of what I want this summer too, is time to really stop and reflect and study my Bible and really just really reflect on my life, my priorities, and reflect on Him.
I want to be thankful.
Yeah.
Thinking about that book, 1,000 Gifts.
Yeah.
I'm not even remembering Anne
Voskamp.
But just the filter of looking out and seeing all the good. And there's so much good every day, but I think about summer and I wait for it all year, so I don't want to waste it by not being thankful for the moments and the places and the people and the things. So just having that filter of looking out and seeing so many gifts that God's given us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what God didn't give us though is any snow. I
That's
really
fine
would
with
like
me.
to have some
You're
snow.
going to have to go to the
Colorado.
snow cone place.
Is it
and
too late for us to have
it
snow?
is, yes, it's
I
too
think
late.
it's officially too late.
Yeah. We didn't
well,
get snow. I was kind of disappointed with that too, although
Summer is
I
coming.
know you're not. Yeah.
But it's summer.
Yeah.
It's windows rolled down. It's warmth.
Music loud.
Yes, man. It's pool parties.
Yes.
It's so fun.
Cookouts.
We'll be grateful for summer, even
Yes.
if we didn't get enough.
And we'll
really
go get
good
a
winter.
snow cone to satisfy you.
There you go. Snow cone. Yes.
Hey, thank you for joining us for this edition of the Girl Talk podcast. We love you so much. And if you want to get in touch, you can. You can email us, girltalk@thelightfm.org. We'd love to hear what you got on tap for this summer.
Absolutely, we would. And we also want to say thank you to our friends at Compassion International. They are releasing children from poverty in Jesus' name, one precious, beautiful, adorable child at a time. And maybe God is putting this on your heart. This is a way that you can tell a child, a family, a community about Jesus. Yep. We encourage you, because we believe in it, we're doing it ourselves, to go look at these beautiful little children who really need to be rescued from extreme poverty. And you can be part of that. Check them out at thelightfm.org/Girl Talk. Then click on that compassion banner, and you're going to meet these beautiful children that God loves, including our little friend Nancy, who's 5 years old, from Guatemala. Give her a look. Maybe pray for her. Just see what God would put on your heart. She loves dolls and running. Maybe you have a child that loves dolls and running, and they could be pen pals. Just check out what Compassion International is doing right now. And we want to say thank you to them for sponsoring this season of Girl Talk Podcast.
And you know what? We're saving you a seat, because we'll be back around these microphones for the next Girl Talk podcast.